It's February 10th, 2013, and you're watching Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games. Yeah. I think you'd be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard.
Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty. I could hear you groaning inwardly every time Sin's mentioned. You just cringing.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 367 of Mods on Air, bringing you the week in gaming news as modders, developers, and gamers ourselves. I am foyleman, and also on the show today we have with us Ham. Hello, Ham.
Hello.
Hello. I think he'll be able to make it with us. He had a bad orange. Also with us we have Breesy. How you doing, Breesy?
Hello.
Hey, and we may or may not have Welshy in a few minutes. Okay, I don't know. That was from late last night, but he just got online, so we'll see if he's showing us. Anyways, before we begin, let me remind you all that the show was recorded before a live audience, of which you may be a part. You can listen in messages about the topics as we discuss them. Watch out for the links that are in the window. They do actually work finally, and hopefully, if we remember, we'll be posting the relevant URL into the chat window in case you care to follow along. Usually Welshy does it. Otherwise, I'd say it's going to be there. Finally, for those of you who haven't heard the show before, there may be some explicit language or adult themes.
Or both.
I don't think it'll be too bad. It's just a, general warning. Hide your kids, that kind of thing. Okay, so we got some things to talk about today. And I thought I'd start up with mentioning about this GameStop thing. GameStop, I don't know how they're always, how they're actually in business, because who buys these, who buys actual store games from the brick and mortars anymore? I don't know. I just download them all, and I think you guys do too.
No,
Yeah.
I buy box copies.
You do?
Yeah, most
So
of the time.
Most of the time, okay. Because then I would have to say your Steam library is not that big. Because come on.
Oh no, I've got a lot of downloaded ones as well.
So what's
But
the
if it's a
advantage
game I've
to you?
been, there is none really. I used to do it just because I like getting the booklets that came in them.
Mhm.
But now they don't even bother with them.
No, I don't.
But I still get box copies like Far Cry. I got a box copy, Guild Wars, Skyrim.
See, I'd still rather hook up on Steam for something like that. But anyway, what GameStop is very much like the game store over there in the UK or something like that. And what they're doing is they've done some sort of partnership thing with Congregate. That's why you see the image of Congregate up there. By the way, a few episodes ago, if you watched, at the end of one of the episodes we brought up some sort of crazy crab game that seemed absolutely insane. That you would see over at Congregate. That's the kind of stuff they're doing. But GameStop has this $10 million funding of independent game creators thing so that they can get free-to-play mobile games going. That's the way that GameStop wants to go. Mobile games. Which is, like I'm saying, over in the UK, it would be like Game. Right?
Yeah,
Just-
absolutely.
Game does mobile games?
No, they don't. But it would be
No, they
like
don't.
them, this brick and mortar, suddenly saying, buy some
Oh, the
games on our
equivalent,
phone. It sort of screams a little bit to me like Blockbuster or one of those other companies that suddenly disappeared because they had no more money.
Yeah. Desperation. It is kind of weird. But then again, they started selling tablets and possibly even cell phones. I don't know. Maybe they're grasping for straws.
Well-
But I'm not gonna dislike this, because if they're helping people out, in the end, they're helping people out.
Of course they're doing tablets. They did the N-Gage. Do you remember the gaming phone?
The N-Gage.
So that's
yes.
what tablets are now. Tablets are the new gaming portable device. So why not carry it?
That delightful device we had to take the battery out to change the game.
What's up with that? Nokia. Wonder why it didn't work. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, by the way.
Hello, Welshy. Glad you
Hello.
made it with us this morning.
Turns up fashionably late.
Yeah,
He's the cool guy.
yeah.
All right.
Cool
so,
guy that can't get into the chat window, but
oh, that sucks. All right, then ignore the messages that I've been sending to you in the chat window.
I would have anyway.
Yeah, of course. There's this other story, though. You know what? This could put a nail in the coffin of a GameStop or any of those other brick and mortars. If somebody such as this congressperson, I guess, or this lawmaker over in Newtown, Connecticut, yes, where those shootings happened, and they tried to blame violent video games over, they're trying to now pass some sort of law that says, let's tax all violent video games.
I support that. It's only going to make everything better, right?
What constitutes a violent video game?
Well,
Exactly. Who gets to decide?
anything
Is
that's not
Pac-Man
Tetris.
violent? Pac-Man would be violent because it kills something and they turn into ghosts, no? Or is it because there's no red jam on the screen that it's not violent? And since there's no red jam, then
that should be the
GTA would
rule.
be non-violent, right? So where do you
That's
draw
true.
the line as far as what is violent and what is not? You can't necessarily say that everyone has to go through the ESRB because that is not the law. It just so happens that a lot of these brick and mortars require it, but it's not required
the law,
by
I
law.
thought.
I don't think it's
Really?
required by law that you have to get an ESRB rating. Otherwise, every game out there in the on Apple's mobile space or Google's store would end up having an ESRB rating because it is a game and it is for sale. So it is not a law.
Well, I mean, maybe in the retail space, like if you're going to be on the shelves in a store, maybe it's required. But this is
Okay,
speculation.
Yeah, I think
I can see it.
digital you don't. If you're just doing digital, I don't believe you have to get an ESRB rating.
Okay, so then this thing we just talked about, how GameStop is opening up this new mobile game fund, it means that now that they no longer have to sell games that have the ESRB rating.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, like you can, if you're putting out retail copies of a game, it has to have a rating.
You see my confusion here, though. There's just too many ways to get around it, and
Yeah.
it doesn't do
Yeah.
anything except
It's
So limit
just
the
stupid.
people
It's
who
like,
sell the
I
game.
don't know. Let's like not tax something that may actually stop people shooting each other. Like, I don't know, guns.
let's tax the guns. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. But no, you're stepping
No.
on my rights.
Okay, instead of the games being the fault, let's tax parents because parents need to be better
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
So let's tax
Yep.
them.
This is, I mean, what evidence points to the entire idea that games were the cause of these shootings in Connecticut? I mean,
Hey,
how is this even coming together?
How
Because it's an easy option.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just something
It's-
to blame.
You know,
It's something to
was-
blame that's not the parents. Well, my fault. I didn't tell him to shoot people. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't. Whose gun was it? Mine. Huh.
And I wasn't the guy on some sort of like psychotropic drugs. Like he had mental issues.
He did have mental issues. They said
So-
that he may have been unstable in some way.
It's like the thing with the kid that stabbed his brother or something because he was using his PlayStation, something like that. And it's like everyone blamed it's the PlayStation. It's like, no, he would have stabbed his brother anyway. It just happened to be the PlayStation they were arguing over.
Yeah.
It's like the Ring, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't work because everyone blames the ring in that.
Yeah,
And in this case, everyone will blame the console or the game or...
yeah.
Blame the Xbox for going red ring. That drives people to kill each other.
Yeah. I tax the video games. Stupid idea, and this guy needs to be challenged on it.
Yeah.
Like how will that help? So it's like, well, the only solution is to tax the video games. Okay, how's that going to help? I mean, who wins there?
The government, because they make some money.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe so, and in the meantime, people who are unstable still have access to guns and can go on shooting sprees. So I don't understand that.
I don't
This
either.
is not ham approved.
It's not. And but this is the mind of a politician. This is the way they
Yes.
work.
That's right. All right. So PlayStation's out there, and they think the next big, great idea for them would be to drop good old Kevin Butler.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's been. I don't know how long he's been with them, but I feel like it's been a long time. And
Yeah,
if you don't
at
know,
least
if
years.
you don't know who Kevin Butler
Your
is,
PlayStation. I got a tip that you were making
Here's
the PS3 $299.
an idea.
Confirm or deny. $2.99. Bernie, you can't believe everything you read on the internet. That's how World War I got started. While $2.99 for the sweetest gaming, Blu-ray playing, movie downloading system in the world would be fantastic. No comment.
But all that stuff says $2.99. Right behind you.
I'm sorry, you said something?
That's an example. So he's got a lot of commercials. A lot of
It
commercials.
only does everything, including identity theft.
Look, for $2.99 you don't just get a sweet gaming machine. It's like
I don't know how long he's been doing their commercials, but I guess
people like free stuff.
It's been some time.
I guess Sony thinks it's time to move on. Move on to what? I don't know, because I haven't seen I haven't seen what's taking over in this place.
They need to do something.
Haven't been in commercials lately.
Well, that could be like the precursor to the new PlayStation then. If they're reshuffling staff, particularly in advertising.
Yeah, it's true.
I know.
I mean, if you're not on the PlayStation,
Well,
Doesn't make bacon pancakes.
I looked it up. I think he started in 2009.
Okay,
I
so-
feel like it's been much longer.
He hates
Yeah.
candles too.
It's a good run, if that's the case.
I know, right?
what's wrong with him?
He first appeared in MLB 09.
PS3, now $2.99.
Okay. Yes, I've got them all here, all the commercials.
Every single one.
Yep. Pretty much. Okay. Enough for him. OUYA. We're still on the roll of consoles here. OUYA has just hit an. If OUYA was one of those Kickstarter things that says, let's take the Android operating system, put it into a nice little box, give it a little more power. Definitely give it a lot. Actually, I should say give it a lot more power, because this is a device that can always be plugged in and doesn't have to run on battery. And then let's put all the games from Google Play and whatever else people make for it into this thing, so that you can start playing games right up on your TV, play these pretty much mobile games, but do it all for a really low price. Now, this thing is supposed to be hitting the retail market, they say, in June, I think it was, for $99. Right now, those that supported it on Kickstarter probably already have their developer versions. I know my buddy got one, so I did see the device. We never plugged it in. Maybe he did, I don't know. And, well, you know what? It's the Android. You want to go out there and make an Android game, go ahead, and pretty much this should work. Just keep in mind that it has to handle the screen size of a TV, right? So they say they're going to be putting out a new version of this every single year. They say, just like a PC, PCs are always upgradable. You always have new processors out there, new memory, new whatever, and the prices on those things continue to go down. So why not put out a new hardware unit every year that's a little bit better than the last one? I don't know if that's good or bad. You come to think of stuff like phones. You get a new one every year, and you feel like you're always outdated.
Yeah. I guess I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, if it's mobile hardware and they're sort of trying to take the best of mobile hardware and convert it into a game console, I mean, I suppose it pays to keep up. I don't really know if it's going to be the best move, but I guess we'll see how it works out.
It is hard to say since
Mobile
nothing has been out.
games, are they going to need the latest hardware? I mean, they're not going to be taxing games,
Yes.
so do they have to be updated all the time?
They do need the latest hardware if this thing takes off and people want to start developing for it. Then people will start developing bigger and better games.
Yeah, because they've got to match the phones. I mean, it's phone hardware, and it's an operating system where you develop content for phones. So I guess it only makes sense that they need to take advantage of the same advantages that phones will have year after year.
It's also quite a good advertising strategy. Oh, we got a new one every year.
It is.
So, if we're going to make a new one every year, we must be putting a lot of money and time and effort into this.
Put it in the news more often.
Yeah,
bring it to
exactly.
every expo every single year and give you a reason
And
to talk about it.
you've got the Xbox that, whenever they get around to putting a new one out, that's probably going to be the same one for the next 10 to 30,000 years.
And how much will it cost?
Yeah, exactly. So you
The Xbox
put it out
will
every
cost-
year.
Yeah.
I do fear that if they were to take a yearly approach, they'll run into a ceiling where it's sort of each iteration becomes less and less of an impact. And
Maybe.
it's possible. I guess it's worth noting one thing that we've always been critical of is that all these games are going to be mobile games, just phone games specifically. And I think last week, OUYA, they concluded a game jam where they asked developers, I think worldwide, to just create games that would be.
They may have sponsored it, but it wasn't their.
Wasn't their thing. Okay.
This is something that's been happening every year, so it was happening before then. But go on.
Okay. And so I'm looking at this news article. I followed some of the links, and these are games that I suppose potentially could run on the OUYA. And so the news article, the headline was like, "Yeah, this is great because there's been like over 100 submissions or whatever." And it was a large number. I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. Maybe this thing will take off after all." And I go to the page to take a look at some of the games and the videos, and I look at them like, you know what? Maybe not. This is this is not so good. Everything I'm looking at here, and the majority of the stuff looked like it sucked bad. I know we were making fun of those little 2001 games, handheld consoles a long time ago, and
the TV white.
Yeah, a lot of the games that were submitted looked on par with those. So my hope is that
Game Jam is an interesting thing. You can't really take it off of that so much because Game Jam, they say you have like 2 or 3 days. You have to come up. They give you a rough topic in order to build your game. You have to design it and then you have to build it, and that's the whole point. See who makes the best game.
Right.
So it's hard to say. You can't say that that's the kind of games that you're going to be expecting.
You're right.
And also maybe you can expect a lot of thievery though.
Yes, you can.
For example, I'll bring up one example that I think is funny. You guys know that I do some games, and one of the games I once made was Dr. Nano. And Dr. Nano was a game about somebody shrinking down into a small size and then going into the body and fighting viruses and going through the body and in different parts of the body and doing stuff like that. Okay, right?
And you stole that from a movie. No, I'm joking.
Now let's go to this year's Game Jam, which happened about a month ago, and it says, Game, Dr. Nano. This is a side-scrolling platformer where you are placed in the shoes of Dr. Nano.
Oh, no.
You are a nanosurgeon and you are a patient dying of a critical heart condition. You shrink down and you are injected into his bloodstream, and you have to eliminate the virus.
Is that ripped straight from the description?
Might as well be, right?
Do you not have some sort of legal recourse on that?
Nah, they're not selling it, and it was. I really don't see the point.
He stole it from that movie anyway.
Yeah, I forget what movie that is, but yeah.
Incredible? No, not the Incredible. Incredible.
No, there's a movie where they shrink the people down, don't they? And
yeah,
it's in.
Isn't that it? Incredible Voyage.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
It could be.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Osmosis Jones. No, nobody.
No. I know
Osmosis
it.
Jones.
I know it, but
That
that's
was
a
a
cartoon.
tumbleweed moment.
Yes,
Yes.
cartoon.
Very cartoon. Yeah.
It was not a great movie.
No. All right. So yeah, OUYA, we'll see. But if you guys have some nostalgia and you're looking for some console-like games, and and you're pretty old and you want like 30 years of gaming, and you have lots and lots of money. Well, actually, I think this thing is already ended. But there's an eBay event thing that went on this past week, where a guy sells over 30 years of his video collection, and he's got all these images up on, I think it was Tumblr or something like that, and it's an Image Shack, that's what it was. There's an incredible amount of stuff going on in here.
But it's all useless shit.
Kind of.
Kind of, it is. I see a Dreamcast in it.
Here you go.
Hey,
There's
Dreamcast was good.
Hey, I had a Dreamcast as well, I can say that.
Nintendo 64. Here's some cartridges for something. A Neo Geo. Wow.
I mean, there's a big market for like second-hand games, but I know a lot of people who collect like N64 games and
television,
Dreamcast games, things like that.
Yeah, but the way eBay works, he'd be better off selling them all individually.
Oh, he's
Yes.
selling the entire collection at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird move.
What the hell is Telepartner?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's got a lot. N-Gage. He's got an N-Gage if you're...
If you want to buy something that'll drive you insane.
Sega Game Gear. I think I had one of these.
Oh, they got Metal
Is that
Gear
a
Solid.
Gamescom? That's a white Game Gear?
Yeah, I didn't know they made them in white either. Wonder Swan.
Zelda.
That's what I
is that Zelda on the Sega CD? I think it is.
Wonder Swan.
The Vectrix cover. Yeah. So, I don't know how interesting it would be to actually own any of this stuff. It's all kind of...
You think it would be cool to have, and then you realize you just bought like boxes of crap.
Yeah. Yep.
I have a Commodore that I bought for the same reason. I thought it would be cool.
It's like, oh, it's a Commodore. Oh, I've got a Commodore, and then you realize that you have no use for it other than to look at it.
Yeah. Oh, all
It
right.
just takes up space in your house.
I'm gonna take a bet and say this guy has never had sex.
No pictures of him, interestingly.
Apparently you're buying him too. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, he
he's...
comes with the
He
collection.
doesn't. Well, that or he's not specifying what he's using the money for.
He's gonna buy himself a doll.
The highest of quality.
Or an ad in the paper for when he goes to PAX next year and wants to try and persuade some honey to help him out and break his losing streak.
I laughed when Strider sent me that ad. That was funny.
That was an actual ad, people. I'm not making it up. Yeah. On Craigslist, by the way, to make it even more creepy.
Oh, there's the Sega CD. There it is.
Morpheus says he's getting married, and his wife says no, not getting married until he sells it all.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Maybe he's more well-adjusted than we're giving him credit for.
Maybe not.
maybe not.
If she's making you sell it, is she the one for you?
Yes, think about that.
MODSonair ruining happy marriages every day of the week. Well, not every day of the week. None of us are allowed out of cage.
Yeah. All right. Here's an interesting article. PC sales are being eaten away by iPad sales.
Uh-huh.
So there's a whole bunch of people out there that really want a PC, but then the new iPad came out and they're like, never mind.
They don't.
No, that
This is
didn't happen.
clearly taken off. Like people, when they say PC sales, they mean people that buy laptops every week because they broke their last one by watching too much porn. That'll be what it is, and people are not buying these little notebooks and netbooks anymore because they want an iPad instead. Not, I'm a PC gamer, and
Do we mean to make the generalization that most PC gamers build their own PCs? Most dedicated
Most
PC.
do, I would have thought.
You know, I don't know. I can't say that. Why else would there be so many articles out there on how to build your own PC?
yeah, I don't know.
Everyone I bet though they do.
Yeah, like I would say, like 5 years ago, I said no, like people don't build their own. But now, I don't know, maybe more. I think more and more people. It's one of those things that's becoming sort of common knowledge for any kind of PC gamer. You just know like how to do that, or you know somebody that knows how to do it, and they show you, and then you know.
Yeah.
I mean, for the people who have issues just with a computer in general, they've got issues getting around the operating system, understanding how it works. For them, when they hear build a computer, you must be a rocket scientist. You know?
Yeah.
But then I suppose you can say those people typically aren't PC gamers in the first place.
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, I think anybody that knows or even wants to attempt it, if they haven't before, once they do it, they kind of realize how simple it actually is.
I think it's become more and more popular as well, just because it works out cheaper. I mean, yeah, you could go to a company, buy yourself a gaming rig, but you probably pay, maybe a couple $100 more
1,000
than if you
more.
build it yourself.
Yeah, like
Probably
1,000
more. Couple hundreds. Really low one.
I was being optimistic.
Yeah, no, don't be optimistic. Be pessimistic. I would go out and buy a gaming rig if it was a laptop, and that's because we are limited when it comes to being able to buy individual parts for laptops and building our own laptop.
Right. That much, yeah, I can understand.
Well, like I bought a gaming laptop for coming to Canada.
Right. And you never did bring back your whole PC, right? Your desktop?
No, it's still back in the UK, connected up. I have remote access from my laptop.
Oh. But the one you did, but that one you built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the 5th version of it, actually, that I've built.
Big is right there in the chat window. All that extra useless software. Absolutely. Every time I buy a
Yeah,
laptop,
that's true.
first thing I do is uninstall as much as I can. And if I can't uninstall everything that I want, then I reformat and install a fresh copy of Windows without their disk.
Yep. Sort of a standard way.
You know, I'm going to bring up something that I'd like people to tell me I'm wrong on. This last rig that I built with an SSD, solid state drive, which basically means that the hard drive is sort of like built using memory chips as opposed to like a disk that spins inside of a probably like an iron box. That damn thing's so heavy. So I have found that over the several months that I've been working with this desktop, it hasn't slowed down. Yet every time I use a hard drive with a platter inside, it always slows down after a few months.
Oh,
and that can't just be
you're
fragmentation.
talking about where like I remember this was the XP. It was quite prolific. Where you kind of every sort of 6 months it would be like, right, I need to reformat because it was just horrible. Yeah, I haven't actually noticed that with Windows 7 at all.
Maybe that's what it is. It's Windows 7.
I mean, it's possible the drive doesn't fragment as much because it's not spinning. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the times where it needs to go and find information 3 times are just, I mean, they're so fast that even if it did actually get slower, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to notice.
That could be why.
That could be like a combination of both, because I know I've really not found that with Windows 7. I don't know whether that's intentional or...
I just thought I'd bring that up for those of you who like to build your own PCs to definitely consider the SSD, even though it's a little more pricey.
Yeah, that's what
you should consider.
If you can afford it, it's definitely worth.
Yeah.
Even if you just buy a smaller drive, buy a solid state, a regular state hard drive, and then buy an SSD, a smaller one, so it's like, I don't know, 50 gig or something like that. Just install your games on it.
More than that, please. Please get more than that. I got a smaller one.
Well, yeah,
like
but I'm just,
and I regret it.
If you can afford to pay the extra, and some people can't.
Minimum 128 gig if possible. Please save yourself the headache.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll say in conclusion about the iPad bit is that yes, it might be there might be increasing sales of tablets, might be accounting for more PC sales, but these are people who are sort of dissatisfied with a PC, and the normal people who aren't playing games, who need that PC for their children or just office work.
Browsing and internet shopping.
Browsing and internet shopping.
Let me get something for you, and I'll show you what I did to my iPad.
I can see somebody's face taped to this, are we? Talk about yourselves while he's gone. We'll do our best not to entertain anyone.
Yes. At all. Oh, he's back.
All right, yeah. See, I'm wired up
Stop
now,
talking about him.
which is why the audio's better. Okay, I just got this, and now I feel like I'm carrying around. It's a keyboard. So now, what you have is just like a laptop on the iPad.
But how does that stay? Does that have something that props it at a 90-degree angle?
Yeah, no more than a 90-degree angle, so that you can actually see it.
But
it's magnetic.
Okay, it does. Yeah, I was just wondering if you'd have to like prop it up all the time.
No,
to
and
use it.
obviously I can keep it separate. It's a Bluetooth keyboard, is all it is.
that
Laptop simulator.
So
That
basically
just-
now
yes,
you
I-
just turned it into the Surface.
yeah, I was gonna say
The
yes, I
Microsoft
did.
Surface.
that pretty much just killed any reason you probably want the Surface.
Well, even the Surface, you have to buy that keyboard separately. So
Yeah.
all right. So now it's a great Skype machine.
Yep.
That's kind of what I got the keyboard for. All right. So yeah, those are your options out there. Get a real PC if you want to play real games. Don't
Yeah.
get a iPad just because you're an Apple fanboy or something stupid.
Ninja.
Rage. Let's move on to Rage. We're not raging here. We're talking about the game Rage, and apparently it's software, or id Studio now, which I didn't realize it was id Studio. They released unofficial, but official, toolkit for Rage.
Only a year late.
Did anyone look
What?
at the, like, there was two pieces of documentation. There was like a frequently asked
PDFs.
questions. 2 PDFs, yeah. Did anyone skim those?
I couldn't find them. I was looking for them, and I
There was 2 links. I skimmed them, and they are very much like, we did this in an afternoon.
Well, did you?
So I was skimming it looking for screenshots just to see what the editor looked like.
it's
So I'm not wasting my time downloading 35 gig just to find out.
well, it's a toolkit, so it's more than just one piece. It's the editor plus I don't know, some other components. That much I do know, but I wasn't gonna install a 35 gig toolkit just to find out.
I wasn't going to install Toolkit because that means I'd have to reinstall Rage.
Well, yeah, that as well.
But the game wasn't good enough to reinstall, right?
No.
But did you take a look at some of the stats also? Like typical build times, which means you go to make a map, a new level for the game, you have to build it into something. The first time you build it, 20 to 60 minutes. So the first time you go to play a level, it will take 20 to 60 minutes to build that into something that you can play it. After that, it's only 1 to 3 minutes. Asset mods, 10 to 30 minutes. Build a mod that has a map, 20 to 40 minutes. Disk space. The toolkit will require 35 gig, which actually isn't horrible. We've seen much worse. And a mod may take as little as 200 meg, but as much as 500 meg, depending on how much content you add or alter. You should have 4 gig of RAM, which doesn't make any sense to me. You should definitely need more than that.
Yeah.
But it will be substantially slower than a quad core with 12 gig.
It doesn't. It doesn't say what system they like ran those build times on either.
No.
Yeah.
Because if you've got like 4 i7 machines, which is what I suspect, it'd be like, okay, that took 20 minutes. Yep, that was our studio build.
And there was a tweet from Carmack, and I believe says something along the lines of, if you're going to actually make things for Rage, you need to be just patient with it, because it's going to take a long time to do anything significant. And
which kind of annoyed me, because it's in the documentation as well. It's kind of like they're suggesting that people have very short attention spans and they're going to get annoyed in like 30 seconds because I can't make anything right now.
Oh.
Like, it's not how they word it, but it's kind of just like, bear in mind, this is a very, rough cut version of our tools, and if they're really not any kind of consumer produced, and you're like, alright, you don't have to keep telling me.
Well, I mean, in their defense, they did use a 300 core render farm to bake the lighting. It's ridiculous.
Well, remember, this is the thing that's as big as pointing out that uses a mega texture. So a lot of that build time could be the initial, let's take everything that you did in the game and turn it into one giant mega texture. That's what the mega texture is. So that when the game loads, it only needs to load the pieces of the mega texture that are necessary for the area that you're playing in.
And then, because the way that game was, it'll load them in like low res.
Yes.
Yeah. And then 5 minutes later.
And then when as you're leaving the area, then they'll go like really high definition, and then you're in the next area by that point, so it doesn't matter.
My goodness, this is I'm so sort of conflicted here because I'd like to think that I'm the hugest sort of id fan ever. You know, I've been going to QuakeCon for almost a decade now, and I want to love everything they do, but but I've got to face the reality that I'm so disappointed in Rage and disappointed in the direction they took this id Tech 5 engine. The trade-offs and all the compromises that went into the engine just simply were not worth it. When you look at something like Rage, or those the tools, the toolkit, and all the insane requirements, and then you look at something like Crytek's CryEngine 3, and you compare the two. CryEngine is a sort of a what you see is what you play, is what they call it, editor, where I'm sort of in the game, I'm doing all these high fidelity things, and it's all sort of apparent to me right then and there. And you've got Rage, where everything is sort of baked in and it takes forever to really do anything worthwhile. And it's like, what was the benefit? Because if you did all this stuff, made all these compromises to uniquely texture everything, it didn't really pay off. Because when I look at something like Crysis, I barely notice any sort of repeating anything, and it doesn't have all these insane compromises either, and it can run on a machine that's sort of
it can run on an Xbox.
Yeah, it can run on an Xbox and can scale there. You know, it doesn't require a 300 core render farm to get anything done in a reasonable amount of time.
We don't know that it requires. They just have that on site.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, here's the question as well: is what games have you seen that have used this engine since Rage? None. Yeah, exactly.
None. And I mean, Doom. The next Doom is using it.
Yeah, but it's doing it, so it doesn't.
True.
But then I suppose you can say nothing really been released with the Crytek engine, though, rather than Crysis.
No. Cry 3. Yeah.
Ham, maybe you know. When did this become id Studio? And is id Studio actually different from id Software because it has something to do with Bethesda Soft or wherever they went?
The first I noticed is with this Rage toolkit. Ever since then, they were id Software. In fact, Carmack has in the last, I want to say, week, been actually commenting that I've seen a few times on a few different articles around the web, tech websites, and even on Reddit. And he's referred to it as id Software. So it's kind of surprising to see it as id Studio right now.
That's id Studio is just like, I don't know, it's the name they give to the actual building or something.
Yeah. Oh,
so they put it on the tool.
You're right. That's what it is. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking back to like different QuakeCon keynotes and things like that.
Yeah.
id Studio, it's like the collection of all the software. It's id Project and the editor and all this other stuff that they've gone to do. When they hired a lot of people, they created a tools team. So people dedicated just to making the production tools for the rest of the team.
Oh, so that way they can shut down the tools team and still have their own software team.
Yeah.
At any point, all set. Good. That's looking forward. All right. Well, id Software might also be involved in something else. Well, it's hard to say it's id Software, but I consider them the creators of the Wolfenstein series. And apparently there's rumor or resumes, anyways, that points out that there's a new Wolfenstein game in development. Which, you know what? The Wolfenstein game was a lot of fun, but you guys remember how we felt about the last game? I don't remember how it played, but I remember us not being very excited while playing it.
I didn't play it purposely because
I don't think
you and Strider were like, yeah, this sucks.
I never finished it, but it played okay. It wasn't horrible, but it was nothing to rave about.
I can't remember what I didn't like about it. That was back in 2009, so I guess I could go back and watch one of those on MODSonair episodes. They're all out there.
Nobody watches those.
This is just adding to my frustration of people just taking games that have already been made and just making new ones of them.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't they just build something new?
It's safer.
Because that requires thought, yeah.
But it's not safer because none of us are going to play it because we know it's going to be shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
That's a good question. The Big wants to know if we think there will be a new Quake 5 or Rage Q5 or something like that. I'm going to say there won't be another Quake because their online experience is not going as well as they had hoped, from what I'm reading.
I'm trying to think specifically. I know there was a sort of a junior development team working on Quake Live and some other stuff, and it was sort of to get themselves ready for another Quake if things sort of panned out.
And if you follow all the past releases, Doom comes before Quake. It is Doom, which is supposed to say, look at our engine and look how good it can be when you play first person. Here's Quake, everybody play online.
Well, they did that with Rage, though.
I don't know what Rage was.
Rage was it was a mess, but it was first person.
Rage was built with sequels in mind, for sure. After the sales and critical reception, I'm not sure if they're going to pursue that.
Yeah, I want them to finish the first game.
Yeah, that's true. Can we have an ending, please? No, I always assumed the Rage was actually more the tech demo for the engine. Kind of like how Crysis is the tech demo for their engine. But yeah, that was why I asked the question before. It's like it's their tech demo, but nobody's using it for anything because it sucks. When it works, it looks really great. You got this huge, landscape that you can just render out in one go. There's no issues. But then we were just saying about it takes like huge amounts of processing power, to render these things, and then you have memory issues when you actually release the game, to the point of the textures don't load properly, and you walk around looking at either really shitty low-res textures or just like grey development textures because it hasn't loaded.
Reminds me of back in the day and working on Soldier of Fortune maps.
And you know what? The animation wasn't that great in that game.
No, you don't think so? I thought it was solid.
I didn't think it was. I think some of the animations were not so great. But again, it could be just I was so infuriated by the crappy ass textures that I just, from that point on, everything else about it sucked, regardless of how good it actually was.
Yeah, it took me a while to sort of put it down and come back to it many months later to actually complete it, for me to sort of say, okay, yeah, this is fine. If I don't hunt down textures and run against walls and just sort of try to take in the scene as a whole, then it looks okay. But if I get too close to anything, it's going to piss me off. It sucks because I know Doom 4 is going to have the same technology running behind it, and it's going to probably still be this weird static lighting. And so we're going to have to wait until whatever's beyond Doom 4 to possibly see improvements in the technology. And I really hope they go in a different direction, because this was a bad move, I believe. I don't think it was ready for prime time.
And it's hurting my book sales. Yeah. All right. As if that's hurting them. Let's go on. I'll log the idea of mods. There is a mod out there now. That's Wolfenstein. We talked about Wolfenstein. All right. There's a mod out there for Skyrim where you can play alongside Dova Bear, who is known to be a legendary drunken bear.
I still have not finished this game. I can't get into it.
It's quite interesting to see all the mods that have come out of it, because it's got that Steam Workshop attached to it. So a lot of stuff has come out for it, which is a good move for them, I think.
Yeah, it is. You can go onto Steam, you can get some sort of toolkit that you can build and work on this game. So you and the bear run around as a...
Can you ride him?
Wow, right?
I mean, if I had a bear, I think I'd put that helmet on it.
Now, if I'm correct, this video here is where it comes from. Some sort of cartoon out there where, yes, that's a bear riding... Should be a horse, but it looks like a donkey. Honeymead, yes, just like Winnie the Pooh. The Drunken Bear.
That's a different version of that TV show, isn't it?
Okay, so you can check this out if you want on your own, and if you have Skyrim and you wanted to waste some time one weekend, maybe it's something you want to look at.
I don't know. I know it's a great game, but I just can't. I don't know. I just can't get into it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I think it's because
I think it's
played,
nearly to the
like,
point where there's too much in it.
Maybe that's
just-
it. I don't know. I know I played it for a good sort of like 20, 30 hours, and then I got probably about halfway through the game and then stopped. And I think that's probably what screwed me over, because now it's kind of like, I can't really be allowed to go back and try and get into it again.
And remember what you were doing and why you were
Exactly,
doing it.
and then the trade-off to that is I start again, but then it's like, I gotta do the beginning again and start from the beginning.
Just start over. It's a long game, that's why it's funny.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah, it's like, just start again, yeah, it'll be fine. Wait, what?
Yeah. Alright, I came across this...
One day.
Oh, yeah. I came across this article and I thought of Morphus. There is a free shooter out there called Alien Arena. That is, they just updated, so you might want to check this out. It has, you know, I'm not going to tell you what it has. I'm just going to show you this video. Apparently they think this video is what's going to get you interested in playing this Quake-esque or Unreal-esque arena-style game shooter thing.
I want it.
It's free. Go get it.
Maybe I will.
And it's actually
Oh,
using none of those
film.
engines. It's using its own engine.
Huh.
Or not its own, but a different engine, the one that I'm not familiar with. The CRX game engine.
Never heard of that.
Well, the CRX is supposed to be an open source game engine that was originally derived from, guess what? id Software's GPL code release engine. Quake 2.
Okay.
The engine runs on Windows and Linux and FreeBSD. And it's been ported to Mac OS. I know, that's what it feels like, Big. It feels like some sort of mod that's based on another game. But I don't know, they're calling this its own game, which I guess you can do when you're releasing stuff on open source for free.
I'll check it out. I'm into the arena style shooters. As long as they have jump pads.
And as long as they have open servers with people playing.
Yes, that's also important.
Okay, enough.
Yeah, that soundtrack is just horrible.
466 meg download. Doesn't sound that bad. It sounds big, but not that bad.
Not too bad.
Okay, Tomb Raider. I know you're all very excited with Tomb Raider because you've shown your excitement in the past when we bring up this topic.
Can't wait.
It's officially gold.
You know what's funny about this? Is
Yeah.
I actually thought this was already out. Somebody asked me like the other week. And I was like, yeah, it's out. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, wait, is it?
12th,
It's not.
Is it 12th?
It's not. It's
March
gone
5th,
gold,
it says, yeah.
so it's run into the printing press now, and somebody somewhere is building the patch. You just don't know it yet for this gold release game, and you should expect it March 5th.
March 5th. We can relive the legend.
Tomb Raider, Lara Croft.
I don't care.
Oh,
I want to
I
play.
might pick it up.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see some reviews, but I'm probably gonna end up picking it up and playing it.
I've been banned. I've been told that I will be hurt and all sorts of bad things will happen to me. Girlfriend tells me if I pick up this game because she looks at it and she says they've ruined Lara Croft.
Well, that's kind of the reason why I'm not going to play it.
And
The thing is, there's nothing else better to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Ham's gonna be in the closet with his headphones so that nobody can hear.
Like,
And then he's gonna play Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Honey, it's research.
Laura, get up! No. It's, I don't know. Apparently her feelings aren't unique. Like there are a few other women that I've talked to who say that they've ruined Laura, and I suppose it was because she was some badass, acrobatic badass woman who was the main character in the game, and now they've sort of made her this fragile little marigold. I don't know. Maybe that's where they're angry.
Maybe they've just been doing a bad job advertising it, because how else is Lara going to be able to pull off some of the stuff she does unless she is brave enough to do it? She's not going to always be cowering in the corner.
Right.
Well, but unless it plays very much like an Uncharted game, which is kind of like you move from one set piece to another, which pretty much involves you slide something breaking while you're climbing on it, and you fall and then almost fall off, and then you climb back up and a piece of it falls off, and then and it just like that's like the entire game for 4 hours.
That's about right.
Yeah, it is. And then, and then maybe sometimes there'll be like a truck and you have to run away from it while shooting over your shoulder. Sometimes though, sometimes it's a tank.
In this case, she could be sliding down a hill while someone's sliding behind her.
Just sliding, yeah, usually those as well. Yeah. It's like it gets very depressingly uninteresting when, oh look, there's a bridge, I'm gonna go on it. Oh, it's probably gonna break when I go. Oh look, it broke. Oh, this is exciting.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
March 5th.
March 5th. Now I wanted to bring up some other stuff that's out there. Thought I'd hit upon some of the Kickstarters that are going on. There's a Kickstarter out there called Fuzzy Slaughter.
Ew.
And here's a little video that goes along with it by Triptych. Triptych, I think is really how they want it pronounced. Let's see if I can get my notes window to go wide enough so I can see. They want $50,000 to make this game. And it looks kind of cute, but I don't know if it's worth $50,000. Let's see. You get a digital download of the game if you pledge $10. Estimated delivery, May.
May of this year.
That's a little bit concerning.
It's awfully soon.
Because if it's May, why? If they're generally going to release that in May, why do they need $50,000 now?
I know. I know. Well, they're showing gameplay here, and they're showing quite a bit of blood too.
This is like a Quentin Tarantino.
So it'll probably be taxed. So watch out for that.
Yeah.
Huge tax on it. And, oh, I'm sorry, Breesy. I should have noticed. You're not allowed to play it. It only ships in the U.S.
Digitally.
I guess that also includes Welshy. So.
Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so there's this one out there, Fuzzy Slaughter. I know it doesn't really get you going. Looks cute, but I don't know if it's worth 50 grand. I mean, 50 grand's not a lot, but.
Well, no, but I find that really sort of weird and sort of suspect that if they're releasing it in a couple of months, why do they now need $50,000?
Yeah, what is that going towards? How's that going to help the game? How's it going to help make a better game?
Because by this point, you should be pretty much done.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one. Akaneiro, Demon Hunters. I think I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. This one is by American McGee. Yeah. He got his goal. He wanted 200 grand. He got 200 grand. This, by the way, happens to be the same amount of money that our others, Serellan, got. Our other guys that were putting together the game Tripwire. Which, by the way, we'll talk about that later at the end. Just to bring that up. So they're looking for some backers, but they have already reached their goal. I do have some video somewhere. Yeah, opening. And there you go. So it's more of a top-down kind of thing, adventure game. And if you notice that little thing, why are you going to back it if... Wait, let me go back a little more. This says, a free-to-play adventure. So why are we backing a free-to-play game?
This is why. Because if you pledge, look at what you get for pledging.
Spirit Helper.
You know, you get autographed copy of Alice Madness Returns.
That was the
PS3
second one, wasn't
edition.
it? Which was not.
Yeah, that's on most of them.
Exclusive items. Pets for in the game. Oh yeah, $60. It's all gone. $60 all gone. $60 all gone for these autographed copies.
So
here's one.
Essentially, people are just paying $60 to get an autographed copy of a game that's been out for a while.
A poster for $60. Wow. That one's all gone too. That one. Oh, there's a few left of this Xbox edition.
Because essentially, what they're doing there is selling something, or promoting something by selling something else already made.
Now it says one of the exclusive items you get in this game is, if you pledge $65, is a Wolf's granny cap. So I am going to venture out on a limb here and say this is American McGee's twisted take on Little Red Riding Hood.
Huh.
Yeah, it actually says that inspired by Japanese themes and the Red Riding Hood tale.
I missed the Red Riding Hood
is.
thing. I knew it was Japanese. Oh well, sorry.
I mean, if I'm definitely gonna play if it's free to play. I don't know. It looks decent enough based on that little video I saw. I've only seen that one screenshot that's up right now, so that was the first time I ever saw video. What's good enough for me to want to download it?
What's the best thing you can get for $10,000? You get a trip to Shanghai.
Oh.
What I like about that is for $10,000 you could just go to Shanghai yourself.
Yeah.
For less, much less.
For a lot less, yeah.
Wow.
But.
Okay. Anyway, one more thing out there. There is another Kickstarter that you may or may not be interested in, and this one's taking place in the UK. It's to build a Death Star. And they only want £20 million.
That's all.
That's it.
Wow, they are really cutting corners on that.
I do like how it's an open source Death Star as well. That's funny.
They have an interesting a tech drawing of it right there.
Yeah, I like risks and challenges. The only risk is the power of the Force. The main challenge is showing Kickstarter that this is a joke and not a serious project. As proof, the goal has been set high enough to make successful funding almost impossible.
And if you give them £10 or more, they will etch your name underneath one of the droids used to finish the station. Because it failed to this. What is it? They had a petition here in the United States that if you get so many people, they have to consider it by Congress in the United States. Well, they didn't quite make it. Congress denied them because they didn't want to build something that had such a flaw.
Yep.
As much as I want to see this happen, I don't know if it's gonna take off.
No. I can pretty much say nobody is building a Death Star in the next 10 years.
Hey. If you never try, you never know the possibilities.
All right. We ran up our hour quite a bit here. I don't know if you guys want to bring up any other points or any other topics to discuss before we wrap it up.
Nope.
Oh.
Other than Takedown.
Other than what?
Takedown.
Takedown. Not.
Yeah.
I thought you said J-Town or something like that. I was like, what?
J-Town.
Takedown. Yes. So we had a little bit of an interview last week with Christian Allen of Serellan, who is heading up the development of Takedown, which was a Kickstarter last April. They met their goal, and they've been developing ever since. That Kickstarter was for a prototype. They're getting along with the game, and which should be released in, I'm forgetting, Welshy, is it June or May, or I forget what the release date is.
I think it was June.
Anyway, I have the interview available that I'm going to be posting very soon. After discussing with Welshy, I'll find out exactly when, because we're also going to be making a number of posts elsewhere regarding the studio and information about them. And Welshy's been breaking his fingers, typing away at trying to get that information out for you, too. So yes, expect some. I don't know if you want to bring up anything else on that, Welshy.
No, other than, I guess, that for this month they are Indie Developer of the Month, but other than that.
Serellan. As in surreal, but Serellan. Okay.
Serellan.
Anything else?
No.
No? Okay, then I'm going to wrap things up. I am going to thank our hosts for taking the time out to chat today. Thank you very much, Welshy, for joining us and for posting those show topics as we went along. Thank you for that.
No problem.
And Han, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And Breesy, thank you very much for joining us today. Okay, and Breesy, I also did notice that you posted some topics too, so thank you very much for that. I know. You're not even going to talk, are you? No,
like I don't care.
I don't hear Breesy.
I don't hear nothing.
No. That's okay. We're at the end of the show.
Somebody pull his string, he's not talking.
Oh, well. All right. In any case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finally thank you, the fans of MODSonair.com and the subscribing members of MODSonline.com for making this show possible. And until next week, go out, play some games, have some fun, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching this week, and come back next week when we will broadcast another live show. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@modsonair.com. And please consider subscribing to modsonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners. I am so hungry, I have to do it again.
Bacon pancakes, bacon pancakes. Take some bacon and I'll put it in a pancake. Bacon pancakes, that's what it's gonna make. Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes.
I heard that Ham adopted this as his own personal anthem.
Yes. I do not.
Alright. So, I'll leave you on this song, everyone. Have a great week.
Still better than Twilight.
It's still better than You can catch the 10-hour version of this on YouTube, by the way, if you're interested.
It's worth it, guys.
Alright. Have a great week.